Hi Mark. When people start to buy multiple devices, one of the issues is seeing the information across those. I know that the new global centre gives the ability to view that information across them and also longer periods of time. What about management?
So the key way you manage a Tintri device today is actually from the graphical user interface that is on the product itself, so the VM Store UI as we would call that, and you can either access that via a traditional web browser or via the web-based vCenter plugin, which actually gives you the same look and feel as an individual Tintri appliance would. However, as you rightly point out, we're starting to roll out more and more devices as a cluster, if you will. So in the same way that vCenter sprung up to manage a set of hosts and clusters within a VMware estate, we now have this concept of Tintri Global Center. The idea is really to provide ultimately a control plane for the management of all Tintri nodes. In the current format, it's very much a reporting tool, so it will go and monitor, or sorry, I should say a monitoring tool. It will allow us to monitor an estate of up to 32 Tintri devices. So the great thing here is, if you imagine an individual Tintri device could be running as many as 2,000 virtual machines, that's an estate of 64,000 VMs being monitored, reported, and ultimately managed from a single pane of glass. So, pardon me, if you want to understand which is the busiest VM or which is the largest VM, you know, all of these kinds of traditional constructs that we report on, you can see all this from a single pane of glass. Now, as I said, we actually perform reporting and monitoring, if you will, today, but what we will see through the course of this year is we're going to expand that capability to allow you to configure multiple devices. Now this will become important obviously for if you want to set policy on a Tintri device, so if you want a common snapshot policy or a common replication policy, or if you want to be able to create the concept of the service group construct where you're grouping all the VMs that make up a service together. Tintri Global Center is absolutely vital to put those configurations together. The other byproduct of Tintri Global Center is it allows us to store longer time periods of information. So each VM store today can hold up to 7 days worth of data. So you can go back and get historical information, but as long as it only goes back to 7 days. With Tintri Global Center, we can now go back to a full 30 days worth of information. And you can export that data as you go along as well, so you can hold whatever time interval you will. The great benefit here is if you had a problem with an application, whether it was yesterday or last week, let's say it was SQL or SAP or whatever it may be that you're running, you can use Tintri Global Center to go back in time and troubleshoot what that issue was. So very important part of our portfolio now.
That sounds good. Thank you.